Hi there and welcome to 40 Stronger. Today I just wanted to make a quick video about what I eat as a woman aged over 40 who is strength training several times per week. And I'm going to cover my pre-workout nutrition, my peri-workout nutrition, and my post-workout nutrition. So overall, I don't eat a particularly strict diet. I tend to favor meat at most meals or eggs. I don't normally eat meat in the morning, but for lunch and dinner, I'll eat beef, chicken, fish mainly. And I like to eat a lot of fruit as well. So meat and fruit kind of make up the kind of base of it. And I also eat carbs like rice and couscous and potatoes. I'm not a massive bread fan, even though the bread here in Portugal is amazing. So yeah, I'm not super strict. I don't cut any particular food groups out. I don't follow any particular diet. I just eat according to my preferences. I mostly eat whole foods, some processed stuff. I'm also not a stickler for whole foods. Like, I'm happy to eat some processed stuff as well. But I don't make it the mainstay of my diet. I usually eat 3 meals, maybe 4 in a day. I don't snack generally. And when I show you what I eat, you'll understand why, because I'm eating enough at meals that I'm not getting peckish between meals. So I think that's really important. And, and it kind of frees you up between meals as well. You're not constantly thinking about food. You just eat your food, you're done, you've got plenty of protein, you've got your carbs, you've got your fat, you're not hungry until the next meal. So personally, that's the way that I like to eat. So I just want to show you what I ate before my training today. So for my breakfast, a piece of Spanish tortilla. So that's egg and potato. A small protein yogurt, a banana, and also a coffee and some water. The total was 21 grams of protein and 40 grams of carbs, which for me, for my training, is absolutely perfect. So I normally allow that to digest for 45 minutes to an hour before I start working out. And that makes sure I have lots of energy to put into my strength training session. Okay, I'm just going to show you as well what I drink during my workout. I buy these big bags of electrolytes. So it's glucose and electrolytes from Decathlon here in Portugal. And I put 2 scoops of this stuff into my water bottle, fill it with water and ice if it's hot outside. And so this holds about 700 milliliters. I also add just regular salt. This has salt in it, but not enough for me. So I add some regular salt as well. I add about 1/4 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon. So whilst I'm training, I make sure I have salt because it really helps me with dizziness that I get sometimes if I don't have enough salt. So I tend to have low blood pressure, and if I do a heavy lift and stand up quickly, I nearly pass out. So once I started adding salt and electrolytes to my water, that pretty much stopped completely. So it's very helpful for me. Now, you absolutely don't have to have electrolytes while you're training. You don't have to have sugar. You don't have to put salt in your water. It's just an option, especially if you're training in the heat. When it gets really hot here in Portugal, the gyms aren't air conditioned, so I sweat a lot. So it can be like 30 degrees inside. So it's very helpful, especially when it's hot outside, to have the electrolytes. I also add creatine monohydrate. I've been taking creatine for quite a long time. I'm not very good at remembering to take it, so I put it in my gym water because I tolerate it. It doesn't upset my stomach or anything like that. And that just ensures that I get my creatine dose most days of the week. If I don't train and I forget, I don't worry about it too much. So I put about a teaspoon of creatine in my drink. And then I try to make sure I finish the drink. So if there's still some left when I come back from the gym, I just drink it a little bit later or something. And that way I know that I've had all my creatine and I've had my salt and electrolyte. Excuse me, the cat is causing havoc. So I better go and let her out. So I did a strength workout today. Was probably around an hour 15, but a lot of resting because I was working out at a very high intensity. After my workout, I always come home after I go to the gym. Well, normally I do. And I try to eat a meal more or less immediately or as soon as I'm able to make it. So it's normally around about an hour after I finish training. If I'm not able to make a meal straight away, I grab a protein shake. So the way I make my protein shakes is I use a whey protein and I use milk and ice. I use full fat milk. I don't like the taste of low fat milk, but low fat milk tends to have a higher protein content. So for the purposes of making a protein shake, low fat milk is fine. It's just that we don't have any in the house. So I just put a scoop of my protein. This one's just a regular whey protein, but my preference is always whey protein isolate because it has a higher protein content. So 1 scoop of this protein is around about, it's 24 grams of protein. I've put 300 milliliters of milk in my cup. That's another 10 grams of protein. So my post-workout shake will have around about 30 grams of protein, and I'll get some carbs from the milk as well. Not a lot. It has 4.9 grams of carbs, so 5 grams of carbs per 100 mils. So I'm getting around about 15 grams of carbs in this shake. The protein powder doesn't have any carbs in it. So I have this and it will keep me going for maybe half an hour longer. So I've got more time to prepare my meal or do other stuff that I have to do before I eat. So protein shakes are not necessary at all. I definitely don't have them every day. I just kind of use them to tide me over, or if I'm starting to feel a little bit hungry, but it's not a meal time yet, I might make a protein shake. Sometimes I have them after a workout like today. You absolutely don't have to have protein shakes if you don't want to. The benefit is you get a lot of protein in one go without all the carbs and fat that you might get, say, if you try to eat the same amount of protein in a meal. So it's a very helpful way of boosting your overall protein intake for the day, especially when you're finding it hard to eat as much protein as you need. So, for example, if your protein target is 130, 140, 150 grams of protein, it can be really difficult to eat that much, especially if you're in a calorie deficit. So that's why protein shakes are very helpful. Okay, so my post-workout meal or my lunch. I have 225 grams of roasted chicken. It's left over from yesterday. Of course, it still has all the skin and bones. So once I remove the bones, it's probably more like 150, 170 grams. So I didn't actually log it as 225 grams because, I don't eat the bones. I have 100 grams of couscous, also left over. I really like to clear all the leftovers out of my fridge when I make a meal. About a cup of arugula or rocket, depending on where you come from. And I have a peach. So on the salad, I usually add chopped nuts. I've got some pecan nuts here, or pecans, depending on where you're from again. And I also add about a tablespoon of olive oil and probably a teaspoon or so of balsamic vinegar. So if you're logging your calories, so this cup of rocket is probably 5 calories. When you're logging stuff like leafy greens, you're going to get hardly any calories at all from them. But what you are going to get calories from is what you're dressing it with. So if I put olive oil on my salad, if I'm counting calories or logging my food, I make sure that I measure it. So if I want a tablespoon, I use a tablespoon to measure it. Because if you just free pour, you could easily pour 300 calories worth of olive oil onto your food. And sometimes people forget to log that stuff and then wonder why, they're in a deficit, but they're not losing any fat. Same with the vinegar as well. I mean, vinegar doesn't have a huge amount of calories, but just log everything. Make a habit of logging everything. Later, when you become really good at it, well practiced, you will know the stuff that it doesn't really matter so much if you don't log it. So for example, if I forgot to log the arugula, it doesn't really matter. It's 5 calories worth. But if I forget to log what I put on it, that makes a massive difference. Also the nuts, This is about 15 grams of nuts, and actually they're candied nuts. So they're worth about 120 calories just for a small handful of nuts. So these are the sorts of things that people come unstuck on. When all is said and done, my pre-workout nutrition, my peri-workout nutrition, and my post-workout nutrition, which is my shake and my lunch, all up so far, I'm at about 1,400, 1,500 calories. I don't have any particular goal. I normally eat on training days. I probably eat 2,000 to 2,300 calories, depending on some days I'm hungrier than others. But more or less, I'm trying to add strength and lean mass. So for me, it's important to get enough calories and enough protein to be able to do that. Okay, so that's all I wanted to cover today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below and I will try my best to answer them for you. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you found this video useful so you see my future videos, and I will see you next time.